it's me, Renee, and I'm back for another recommendation video. Today, here, right now, I have the prompts, third prompts, being inspired by the past. So this could be both mythological books, like books based on myths, because they're a thing in the past often, or at least from the past. They can be historical persons or historical fiction, because historical fiction is based on historical time, which is in the past. So yeah, here we have first Time Villains by Victor Pinheiro. So this is the first in middle grade series, and in this world, you can write down a note on people you want for like your fictional dinner party, and then these people can come to the party. So in this one, both real life and uh, people made up come to this party, and one of them being Blackbeard, he's a real person. They also have the Earl of Savage coming by, and also Mozart as a kid. So yeah, this has real life people mixing into our world. So yeah, definitely based on the past, or based on real life, or based on past. And yeah, quite fun little middle grade book. Also the first in the series. I think the second one is coming out. Anyway, I'm not quite sure how long the series is supposed to be, but yeah, this is a delightful little read. So if you want a middle grade series or book to pick up, check out this one. And then we have Brightly Burning by Alexa Dunn. This one being a retelling of the Jane Eyre story. So retelling works. Based on a past book. And yeah, it's one of Jane. I think it's Alexa Dunn first book, second book. Yeah, actually, I think it's her first book. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Jane Eyre retelling, but it's set in space. It's a YA book, and I would say check out. A very good book. And then we have Valkyrie Rising. As you might expect, this is based on Norse mythology. It's a standalone, which you don't really have that many standalones of, because it's a standalone urban fantasy. Often you might find standalones being high fantasy. This is urban fantasy. It takes place in Norway, and yeah, quite a good book. I started a reread of it quite a while ago. Haven't gotten far, but yeah, I would say, like, if you want something cheesy but fun and like, yeah, urban fantasy, check out this book. It's came out like 2012, so I suppose you could find it like used, because I don't really think it ever like became that well known and like that much of a bestseller. But yeah, it's a enjoyable read. So if you want Norse mythology based, check out this book. And then we have so yeah, this is also like a bit silly of me. A Clash of Steel. It's a remix of a Treasure Island. So I haven't technically read this myself so far, but I have read other books by C.B. Lee, so I'm kind of assuming this will be good as well. And also, I really like A Treasure Planet, which is a version of also the Treasure Island. So yeah, I'm not thinking I'm gonna really like this one as well. So yeah, if you didn't know, heads up, this is the first in a series of remixed classic, which and they remix it with diversity, so it's either ethnicity or it's sexuality or whatnot. So yeah, check out this, I would say. And then we have the Veronica Rayburn series. Sorry, Veronica Speedwell. Rayburn is author. So this is a historical crime series. So it's based on it's historical, so it's real life, like real life history. The main character is not based on someone important, but like the people around. Like you meet real life historical people in this series. At least you did in the first one. I'm probably thinking you'll probably meet them in the later books as well. But yeah, anyway. So if you like crime set in the past, check out the series. Very, very good. I'll say, as I just read one book so far, but I love that one book so much. So yeah, I'm assuming the rest one is amazing as well. This is the second book in the series, and yeah. Then we have a non-fiction book, which non-fiction works pretty well in this readathon as well. You can do that if you want. It is Difficult Woman, A History of Feminism in 11 Fights. Also, I haven't read this one yet myself. It's on my TBR. But I'm assuming this one will be very fun. And yeah, it's all about some fights. And yeah, kind of talks about feminism through 11 fights. So instead of talking about like the time that this in this country got female votes and stuff, this is more about fights. So I'm not quite sure if it's like direct fights or if it's more like ah yeah. For some reason, I kind of went around thinking that this was all about like fights, like people fighting in the streets and stuff. And I haven't really looked that much into it. But now I'll see like the contents. It says like divorce, vote, sex, play, work, safety. So it's like it's fights like in the metaphorical way, not like direct like people fighting people. It's more like fighting for rights. But yeah, anyway, still a book I'm really excited to read, and yeah, I mean, it definitely works with the prompts of based on the past because I mean, a lot of this stuff in the past is in the past. Not everything, sadly, but like the right to vote, we have not everywhere, but a lot of places. So yeah. And then we have another fiction on fiction. It is Dancing on Ropes. And this is all about translations and balance of history. So like translations in history have like sometimes translating stuff is not all that easy. And yeah, I really like language. I really like nonfiction nowadays. So yeah, this book really piques my interest. And blah blah blah. Yeah. So I'm like let's say that's it. But yeah, I have another pile here. And then I have another one that I haven't read myself, but I kind of think it's probably a good book. It's Paola Santiago and a River of Tears. It's the first in a series. Sorry, it's a Rick Riordan Presents book, and it's based on Mexican folklore. So yeah, definitely past there. So yeah, it's also becoming a movie. So if you want to know about that. And then we have a historical romance, being The Duke Undone by Joanna Lovell. This is the first in a companion series, and it's a historical fiction, so it's not based on any one historical like persons, at least not that I know, but it's historical, so it's based on real life, like real historical time. It's based on the blah 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 blah. It's based around the age of 1881, so in 1800s. So yeah, definitely a book I would say check out. But like the just can't be warned because the back of this kind of like makes it, at least my version, kind of makes it up like it's suspense as well as a romance. I would say it's more of romance with some suspense in it. It's not suspense with romance, it's the other way around. So yeah, know that going in because I expected more romance, more suspense coming into it, and the suspense it was there, but it wasn't that huge. So yeah, yeah, just just know that. And then we have another Elsa Cole book. It is An Extraordinary Union, the first in her a novel of Civil War trilogy. Yeah, that's a trilogy she has, and yeah, it's a Civil War set from African American perspective, and a lot of the books have spies in them, and yeah, and also romance. So yeah, check out these if you're into that kind of stuff. Highly recommend it. And then we have another historical crime book, well, crime series. It's kind of styling for a whole series, and um, this is a middle grade, I would say, series, or like it's one of those like often series that kind of people say the same age, at least in YA. In this series, they age over time, but it's not like they ever like become graphic or like it's not. I mean, some people say like the definition of adult book is that you have graphics, sex scenes, graphic violence, and then graphic language like swearing and stuff. There's never really that much of that here, but they get older, so if it's a teen or middle grade series, not quite sure, but yeah. It is a murder most unladylike. It's a crime series set during 1930s in England, but also around Europe and around the world. And yeah, if you like Agatha Christie, I would say check out this because there's like gives you very much Agatha Christie feel to it. It's often set in among the rich. It's often impossible murders where it's like locked room mystery and people like or like no one could have done it. So yeah, check out. And it's like this is a short story in that universe. And yeah, then we have things a bright girl can do. One of the few. Well, I don't really know if that's probably others as well, but yeah, this is one of at least to my knowledge one of the few YA books about the suffragette era in the UK. As was when they talk about suffragette, you always think about the UK. But like the suffragettes, does that like mean the right for votes for females everywhere, or is it just kind of right for votes? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, this is like what young suffragettes in England, but it's about several characters. Two of them are queer. The third is straight, but she wants to go to Oxford. But she's rich, but she's supposed to marry, not go to Oxford. So like, no, that's not happening. So yeah, they're all fighting patriarchy in different ways. And yeah, I highly recommend it. Very good book. It is stand alone at the best to the best of my knowledge. And yeah, then we have non-fiction. It is meant to avoid in art and real life. So this is kind of based on Twitter thread where they've taken uh, uh, art and then they kind of like put like fun text to it or like text that kind of works to it. They kind of interpreted what they think is going on here. And yeah, I mean, so it's based on art. All this art is old art, so that's definitely past. But it mixes like with our modern day thinking, or like I suppose also thinking of that day, because often in this book you kind of think like, oh yeah, that has to be what the characters in the painting is thinking, and yeah, delightful, nice, good read, fun to read if you like art, or if you like feminism, or if you just like to have a little laugh, a little yeah, because it's not a book like you won't lose your breath laughing, but you'll laugh a bit during rereading of this. And yeah. And then we have Mystery and Mayhem, a short story collection of crime, um, crime for kids or like for teens, middle grade. Again, I've started this book, haven't read part in it, but I've started it. And yeah, it's based on historical crime, so yeah, based on real life history or his real life historical time. So yeah. And then last we have The Mad Girls of New York. Again, I haven't read this one myself, but I plan to read this week. This book is based on Lullaby, which is a real life person, but this is a fictionalized version of her life. And she was a journalist in the early 1900s. And yeah, kind of a bit tired now, so I'm gonna stop there. And yeah, I hope that you find these recommendations good and enjoyable. And I'll see you soon. Bye.